go of everything.
So we're going to be creating a caricature of the famous stage and film actor Ian McKellen. And so here you can see I have some reference photos that we're going to be analyzing in this lesson. And what I'm looking for are facial features that really stand out to me. And I can take these features and really play them up, really exaggerate them when we get into creating a caricature of him. So before we get started, it's important to mention that these photos here will not be included in the project files simply because we don't have the rights to redistribute them. However, you can do an online image search and easily find these same photos amongst many, many others. Okay? So what is a caricature? Well, it's basically just a rendered image that's showing features of the subject in a simplified or exaggerated way. So certain features may be pushed to one extreme while others may be simplified to really get across just the essence and personality of the person, of the character. Okay, so I'm going to kind of zoom in here and we'll kind of look at these different photos here of Ian McKellen. And the first facial feature that I think really stands out to me is his nose. I think he has a very unique and interesting nose. His nose is kind of large. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of outlining these different facial features as we kind of talk about them. And so I think that's something that I want to play up when we begin to create a caricature of him. Okay, I really feel like it stands out really strongly there, especially here as well. So there's his nose. And even here, looking at a younger version of him, he has a very defined nose. Okay, so I really want to play that up. Now, as far as what age we're going to portray him, it'll be closer to these three images right here, but I kind of felt like it helped to have a younger version of him back when he was primarily a stage actor, just to see how some of these different facial qualities have translated over time, over the years as he's aged. Okay, so the nose is one that I really want to focus on. I really want to push, perhaps make much larger than it already is. Okay. The next thing I think that is really defining about Ian McKellen's face are his eyes. Okay. Especially the hoods of the eyes. They just kind of, they're very droopy. They just kind of slope down there. So really on all of these, you can just kind of see that. Okay. So again, just kind of doing it, you can really see it right here. That one's really drooping down. And when it kind of comes to these, these three here, there's probably a few years difference between them. So I kind of feel like he's maybe a little bit older here than he is, say, right here, okay? But we're going to be kind of looking at all of these to kind of pull from, all right? So the eyes, kind of how droopy they are, and then also he has some pretty strong and evident bags under his eyes as well, okay? So it's in this area right here, the eyes and the nose, that I really want to play that up. Now, caricatures, they can be meant to be insulting or complimentary. There's a lot of different ways you could really portray a caricature. You see a lot of political figures in editorial cartoons that have been drawn as caricatures. You know, if a politician is being accused of, you know, lying about something, they may draw his nose really long, a reference to the story of Pinocchio, stuff like that. Okay, but with actors like we have here, you'll often see them portrayed as caricatures in entertainment magazines, and often it's just for fun. It's just for entertainment. It's not to put down the actor in any way, and so that's really my intent here. I'm a big fan of Ian McKellen. I love his work. I'm a big fan of the movies he's in, especially, and so I really want to create something that's really fun and interesting. And this, again, really playing up these different facial features. I also kind of think, just kind of coming back here, he kind of has a long face. And in some ways, his face is almost kind of boxy and long, if that makes sense. So I'm starting to kind of see that. So as we kind of get into the overall face, you know, I'm starting to kind of see simplified shapes and forms, okay? But again, he kind of has just a long, boxy face. He has a very defined jaw, which I think attributes to that. You can really see it right here when he's young. He looks like he's probably in his early 30s, late 20s right there. He's probably in his mid-30s right there. The photo's kind of washed out, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly. But he's pretty young right there. But again, a really defined jaw. And also, he's got really strong cheekbones. So I really want to play those up as well. Okay, you really see it here in the young photo. Again, you can see how it's kind of translated over time. Okay, so the eyes, the nose, the long face, cheekbones, kind of a boxiness to the overall form of the head. These are all things that I really want to push to varying degrees when we get into creating a caricature of him. We're going to start that in our next lesson. I'm going to have these off to the side, and we'll begin just with a simple, very rough sketch, okay? But again, basically a caricature is just taking different features, simplifying some, exaggerating others, okay? And so we'll go ahead and get started in our next lesson, working up a sketch of